Hello, everybody. Listen to the Fair Weather Podcast. It's your boy 2K Suave. I'm here with Alex A-Rod Rodriguez. It's been a couple of weeks since we spoke to you guys, and we're back and better than ever. I may or may not have died last week and came back to life, but we're here to tell the story. And what's up, A-Rod?
Yeah, man, happy belated birthday. Glad you're alive and kicking. You can tell your own story. I know I showed
I'm
up
not
with
telling
another
any
number
story.
one.
Just know that I don't like to celebrate my birthday, and people try to force me to celebrate my birthday. So, you know, I don't know. I can't. I'm trying to think of a witty quote to say right now, but long story short, I saw things I wish I didn't see that next morning. So here we are. Here we are.
KK was in bed when I pulled up, so you
Long
got some
story short, yes, I missed half the party. I missed half
Oh
the
man.
party.
But yeah, it's been a few weeks since we talked recover mode and playoff mode. Some people or KK's teams were in the hunt. So
Yeah,
six.
last week the Sixers were on. On top of the fact that my body was in shambles, I felt like maybe that's how James Harden felt because his ass could not play basketball last week. Clearly, Joel Embiid's face broke like 6 times. He had like a torn ligament in his hand. Danny Green tore his ACL. Look, sometimes it is not in the stars for your team to win an NBA a championship. Period. That was every indication they threw. They said everybody's gonna be trash. Everyone's gonna get hurt. We're gonna make sure y'all don't make it to the NBA Finals. So the experiment kind of failed, I guess, but not really. But maybe I don't know. It's gonna be a long off season.
Mars is in retrograde, man. Everything's falling in
It's
shambles.
Mercury Gatorade.
Mercury Gatorade, that's what it is.
Gatorade. So
all right, so we got episode 66. We're gonna really focus heavily on NBA today, a lot, but we'll get some football talking there at the end. Obviously, the playoffs. We'll discuss the game sevens and the end of the semifinals. What's next for the Suns, the Bucks, the Grizzlies, and the 76ers. We'll talk about Luka just surging right now and basically being the new mayor of Phoenix, and what to expect in these Eastern Conference and Western Conference finals. We got to see game one of the East. Game one will probably be tonight while we're recording, so you'll get to see the highlights tomorrow. So we'll just touch what we think will happen there. Then, players are coming on to the media shows now that they got a lot of free time on their hand, a la Pet Bev and his ESPN tour that he's been making on every show on ESPN. So we'll discuss Pat Bev and his take on a lot of things. Also, Kyrie on the I Am Athlete podcast decided to kind of clear the air about him and LeBron and his maturity of how he would have handled things now. So we'll touch base on my favorite player, Kyrie, and where he is on all of this. And then we'll get into the NFL scheduling. Schedules were released beginning of the week. So we'll talk about early predictions and how we fare our teams and other teams to fare out throughout the season. And then the Tom Brady roast that is supposedly supposed to happen. KK thought it'd be a fun idea to list some athletes that we would enjoy to watch, entertainers, comedians, celebrities, just roast them. So we'll give a few players that we think would also be a fun roasting segment of, because I got a good couple for that one as well.
Can I just say something right now while we're on the Tom Brady topic? This dude has time to make a movie. He's in the streets working out. He's doing TikTok. He's got a $37 million a year deal with Fox to do commentary.
He's got a clothing brand.
He was on The Shot with LeBron's podcast. Yo, Tom Brady, I don't know who this man is, bro. Like, he retired, came back. I don't know what Giselle said to him. I don't know what Bill Belichick did to him in New England to make him lame before. But this Tom Brady, if he finds a way to win a Super Bowl this distracted, I'm gonna be like, damn, that's crazy, because I've never seen Tom Brady be so outside. Like, he is outside right now. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy to see him outside.
He's definitely having a lot of fun. And I'll be honest, I still hate the guy, but I enjoy seeing this version of Tom Brady is very enjoyable. And it's good for sports for people to see athletes just out of their skin. Like I'm not gonna front. That TikTok he did about the the tuck rule.
The tuck rule.
I was dying, man. I was dying. Even though he admitted Charles Woodson and he made that video, I was like, all right, Tom's got a sense of humor. I can be on the same wavelength as Tom now.
Maybe it's gonna take a while for you. You a hater, so
I'm not a Pat Bev. I'm not like Pat Bev, but I'm a hater when it comes to Tom Brady. It's different there. All right, let's talk NBA playoffs. So we got to watch some good game 7, 6s. Out of
no good game 7s, good game 6s.
We got to see some good game 7s though. The 6s, whatever. But 4 teams are advancing in the Celtics, the Heat, the Warriors, and not the Suns, the Mavericks. So, I mean, it's tough for you. I get it as a Sixers fan. You know, you said it earlier coming on here. It seems like the James Harden experiment failed. So let's talk about the game 6s with the Warriors and the Grizzlies, and we'll talk about the 76ers and the Heat. So
ours was game 6. The Warriors was a game 6.
Yeah,
and the other ones were game 7s. Phoenix and Boston.
Let's start with your team first, so we can kind of get that one off your chest.
I don't know what to say. Let
me ask.
No, I'm gonna tell you. So back in February or March, and then leading up until the postseason, I'll go back and look at the footage. I said we're a second round exit. I said it repeatedly every week. Yeah, I love it, blah, blah, blah. Bye-bye Ben Simmons, da-da-da-da. But we're a second round exit. I knew for a fact we're going to have to either play Miami or Milwaukee or Boston, for that matter, in the second round. And I knew we're not better than either one of those 3, even when that trade happened. So it was fun while it lasted. We have a lot of decisions to make. Obviously, we dealt with a lot of injuries. Miami, we obviously saw them last night against Boston. They're a fantastic defensive team. They rotate really well. They're very deep. Eric Spoelstra, time and time again, we talk about how he doesn't get the praise. Well, keep in mind, he just made it to another NBA Finals 2 years ago in the bubble. It's not like he can't get to the finals. It's not like he can't. His team, he knows how to coach. He coaches his ass off. And it's funny because that little fight that almost happened with Udonis Haslem, Jimmy Butler, and Spo a couple weeks ago, we thought, oh my God, what's going on? And then I remember I read somewhere where D Wade texted Eric Spoelstra like, all right, it looks like you guys are getting ready for the playoffs, huh? And clearly they know how to handle the business down in Miami. Philadelphia, Doc Rivers has a track record of underperforming in big moments. Outside of that Boston series, I mean, you got to keep in mind that when they won that first championship against the Lakers, I just think Boston was just a way better team than that specific Laker team at that point. And then when they ran it back, I mean, they were up 3-2 against Kobe and the Lakers, and the Lakers came back and won that series. So, and he's lost 3-1 leads. He's lost 2-0 leads. And I don't want to blame him 100% for this one, but the reason why Embiid got hurt, or the reason why Embiid was out game 1 and 2, was because he got hit in the face while we were up 25 points in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes to go. There was no reason for him to be on the court in the first place at that point. So I got to put a lot of that blame on him. And then I know we want to blame James Harden for all this stuff, but James Harden has been this player for the last 2 years. Like you got to keep last year they were a first round exit with him second round with him and Kevin Durant. He was a shell of himself, and it's continued on. He had one little splash game, but he's not the same. And the only other thing I can say about this series is Tyrese Maxey. That's all I got to say. That's the guy.
You can see the hunger in his eyes. You can definitely see that. What I'll take away from it is you said exactly what you had to say about Doc. I feel the same way. I don't think all the blame is on him, hence why he's coming back. I think he had a roster that was kind of retooled, not at the right time for players to get together and Joe what good with each other. I also think that the whole Ben Simmons black cloud was just negative attention that they didn't need. And now that that's gone, hopefully something can happen. Um, I think James Harden, it's tough to like point a finger at him, but I mean you really have to, but it's also him realizing that he's not the focal point anymore and him having to accept that. And does he want to accept that? And is he going to stay in Philadelphia? Like, is that going to be where James is going to stay?
Well, from
And
what I've read, he knows he's not the focal point anymore. That's why he's been very passive to Maxey and very passive to, like, he makes sure Embiid gets the ball. He wants to play the role of point guard and let, Tyrese Maxey be off the ball, and be able to distribute. Because, for what it's worth, his points are down, but he's still dishing out 10 plus assists.
yeah,
So I think he just wants to stick to being a pure just point guard because he can't get past the defender anymore. The step back doesn't work anymore. The rules, they don't call all those ticky-tack fouls that they used to call on him anymore. So somebody who was so good at manipulating the rules, he was like probably one of the best we've ever seen manipulate the rules. They re-manipulated the rules so that he could not manipulate the rules anymore. So, I think he's had to play off the ball and know that he's going to be number 3 now.
yeah, and I think the thing about James, though, I you may hear that, but I don't think as a competitor that's what you accept either. Because when you go to a team like Brooklyn and you don't know who the third option there is, like they may say it's James, but does James really think that? And then you see this in Philadelphia, like stomach in that second round loss, and then maybe he may agree to that, but then you may also get a rehabilitated James Harden next season. I'm not holding my breath to that. I think the guy's lost a pep in his step, obviously.
Father time caught up with him because he doesn't stay in shape.
He can't stay in shape, but that's on him as well. That's on him and his poor workout.
But that's how he's always been. So it's like but to his credit though, it's not like he's always hurt. So for a guy who doesn't always come to camp in shape, until like the last couple years, he never really got hurt. He plays 70 plus games a year. So he's somebody that was dependable. It's just, hanging out with little baby too much in Paris, that gut got big.
Yeah, I think another thing that your team has to address is putting together a solid bench, because I don't think you have the depth to
not at all
to go deep. And you heard the bromance at the end of game 6 of Jimmy Butler loving.
Don't even say it, bro, because trust me.
I know.
This has been hurting my soul for 3. I knew this was going to come back and haunt us as soon as we let that shit happen.
But what I'm getting at, and I won't even bring it up. I mean, if you watch the games, you saw it, but you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do with that guy, because he's obviously being paid a lot and he's not performing.
Bradley Beal.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it takes.
But that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to get Bradley Beal, and that's still going to be a hot button issue over the summer, is trying to get Bradley Beal over in Philly. So their contracts are comparable, him and Tobias. They're probably going to want Tyrese Maxey, which is what I don't want to give up. That's the problem. I know for a fact y'all want Bradley Beal. All right, cool. Give us Tyrese Maxey. I'm not trying to do all that. So
no,
that's kind of where we're at right now, where I'm kind of concerned.
Yeah, so it's going to be retooling that team, and there's going to be a lot of retooling, and obviously James is going to have to opt in and want to be there, and you're going to have to build around James, Maxey, and Embiid is what it's going to have to be, and keep some. Like, I really like Shake Milton. I think Milton's a good player to come off your bench, and obviously Thibault, and then everybody else is whatever.
Matisse Thibault, he's become more like a. God, what's that guy's name who played for OKC? That was like their best defender, but couldn't make free throws. Roberson. That's all he's become. We want him to be Robert Covington, but he's more like Roberson. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I would have given up him instead to Brooklyn and hope that we could have kept Steph Curry. So I would have been happier with that. I mean, we would lose a defender, but he got left open so much. Clank, brick, clank, brick. So I'm like, I don't know, bro. I don't know about him right now. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done in Philly. And this all that matters is that we got to do whatever it takes to keep Embiid happy, so he doesn't get to a point in which he wants to leave. That's all that matters. No matter what it takes, just make sure he has input on the players that we get. Just make sure that he's happy. And losing Jimmy Butler was strike one, maybe strike one, right? I don't know if there's been a strike two yet, but I think them getting rid of Jimmy Butler, because you could tell they had a good relationship. They're still friends to this day. I think not keeping Jimmy Butler and keeping Tobias Harris over him was definitely strike one. They did well by trading Ben Simmons to kind of keep him happy, but you got to find a way to just make sure he stays happy. Or go get LeBron.
All right, let's shift it to another Game 6 series. Grizzlies and Warriors. Obviously, Ja going out is detrimental to their success, even though it was shown throughout the regular season they could win without him. But
they won without him in this series too. They blew him out by 50.
But it also shows that playoff knowledge is definitely what's going to get you further. So, I mean, I think the Grizzlies are a team to watch going into next season. I think they're marketable as a place to want to go and play. You and I said it all year. They're just missing that veteran presence. Their veteran that they got is Steven Adams, and he's not even 30 yet.
28 or something like that.
Yeah, motherfucker look 40, but he's only 28.
But that was definitely the problem.
Yeah, and you could see it. There's a lot of hungry kids in there, but I mean, at the end of the day, kids are gonna kid, you know. So Steph Curry's a 2-time MVP, 3-time NBA champion for a reason, along with all the other guys on the team. So, I don't know. All I took away from that series really was, the Warriors lost by 51 game, but they won the series. So, like, will you ever remember that? Or are you going to remember if they win it all this year, that they are
well,
like?
they're not winning it all this year. I'm calling that right now. But let me break down. I'm gonna break it down for you. If you look at the games, so game one came down to a missed game-winning shot by Ja Morant with a little bit of luck for Golden State down the stretch. Game two, they were able to close. Game three came down to the last couple minutes. Game four, last couple minutes. Like, and this is without Ja, right? A lot of those games without Ja. To me, I think Golden State played down to the competition, or Memphis played up to the competition. I can't really tell who did what, but for what it's worth, if Memphis had a little bit more veterans, just one more veteran, or Ja Morant could have been healthy, they would have won this series, in my opinion. Because Game 6 was close, was close until it wasn't close anymore. Game 5 was the blowout. Game 4 came down to the wire, but then they called this ticky-tack foul on Dylan Brooks, or Desmond Bain pushing Steph Curry in the basket for a loose ball foul with like 20 seconds to go. This was the team that Memphis is there. They're like Phoenix right now. They didn't go get a well, we're about to talk about Chris Paul, but they need to get a Chris Paul kind of player, somebody who's just gonna whip them to shape and just, let them mature. Because it's hard to do this shit as kids. Like, Steph is 30 plus, Draymond 30 plus, Clay 30. They've been here, done that. They've been to how many? They've been to 5 NBA. They've been to 5 NBA finals. That's crazy. Like, we can go back and look at this era of basketball. LeBron in the 2010s went to 8 straight, and then within that, the Golden State Warriors were in 5 different NBA finals within that time period. It's crazy. So, veterans. Memphis just needs some grown-ups on that team. Somebody over the age of 30 on that team.
I agree. All right, let's go to 7 game series. Let's start with the East first. Boston and Milwaukee was definitely a good game. It was neck and neck until the fourth quarter. And, shout out to Townie Sports, man. Like, if anybody was on, life alert all week, it was definitely Vic. Vic is definitely one person you don't want to text when the Celtics lose. And I was talking to them all week, like, how are you guys feeling about this series? And the one thing that came up was just Giannis is going to get his calls, and you definitely saw it all the time, like that offensive foul they had that. I guess I think it was Williams. They called it on Giannis. And I was like, I bet you they called this back. Sure enough, got brought back on Giannis. So it's crazy to see, like, how we were just talking about James Harden, how he could carve out a type of way to get fouled and capitalize off of it. But then you got people officiating in the NBA, and you see guys like Giannis who just bulldoze into the paint and can draw any type of foul, even if a guy is planted, or even if something is in the way that would initiate a foul call. But because it's good for media, it's good for his stats, it's good because that's what you want to see, it's good to put them back in the game, we're going to let that slide.
I don't know about that. As somebody who used to be a referee, and somebody who used to watch Shaquille O'Neal very closely.
My apologies.
As somebody who used to watch Shaquille O'Neal very closely, when you have somebody who's bigger and stronger than everybody on the court, it's hard. It's hard to know if it's an offensive foul or not. It's just hard because you don't know. So it's not his fault that he's bigger and stronger than everybody. It's not his fault. And same thing, like LeBron has gone through that. Like LeBron gets hacked a lot more, and he doesn't get the calls anymore. But it's because he makes it look easy because he's so big and strong. Giannis is just bigger and stronger than everybody. Shaq was just bigger and stronger than everybody. So at the end of the day, it's just hard to officiate those kind of players because, like, James Harden is crafty. He's skating he's not a big guy, you know what I mean? So it's easier to hear contact, see contact, see his body contort if somebody touches him. Giannis is gonna bulldoze everybody because he's built like that.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm torn on it. I feel like there was a lot of plays that I looked that were just like kind of reckless on his behalf, and they were just like, oh, nothing. No, we don't see anything there. But if Robert Williams went through, they'd have called that shit all day, no problem.
The Robert Williams is not big.
Yeah, he's the center. He's a 6'8" center, man. So all I'm saying is I don't have the accolades that you have, Mr. Referee. I wish I could say that, but
hey, decorated.
I watched some games and there's some questionable calls. Also, Stan Van Gundy doesn't help because he's very against the Celtics the entire time, and it's super
Stan Van Gundy should not be calling games.
It's the worst.
Go give Tom Brady that job. Stan Van Gundy is not a good color announcer.
But I mean, you got to see a hungry Celtics team, and you got to see a hungry Celtics team capitalize. And
are you shocked at all?
I'm not. I also think that the reason the Bucks are out is because of no Middleton as well. I think not having second fiddle there.
Exactly.
The crazy thing about the Bucks is Giannis showed up every game. Drew Holiday showed up every game. And imagine if you had Chris Middleton there to do it. And I feel like everybody else was showing out to the games too. Like Bobby Portis was crashing the boards. Brook Lopez was cleaning up, taking the necessary threes he had to take. I couldn't point a finger at anybody. I mean, there were some sloppy turnovers, but hustle was there. You even saw it at the end. They were playing like body to body defense, trying to get back in the game. But
yeah,
it's just unfortunate to see all of that, because you want to see a repeat. You want to see Giannis go deep into this.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to see that too, but I think
it's also refreshing.
I think we're gonna start looking back and looking back into history and stuff like that, and we start taking superstar players for granted. Like in the 90s, Michael Jordan made it to 6 NBA Finals in the 90s, right? Took 2 years off. Hakeem was there, and then Duncan got one, right? In the 2000s, early 2000s, it was Laker or San Antonio, and that was it. And then in this decade, it's LeBron made it to 8 straight finals. Like no matter what, it was a foregone conclusion. LeBron's going to be in the finals. And in the West, it was going to be San Antonio or it was going to be Golden State for the latter part. So it's like now we're getting back to a point in basketball where it's anybody can make it every year. We're going to see Miami. We're going to see Boston. We're going to see Milwaukee again. We're going to see Philly in 4 years. Like there's no consistency anymore because we're about to see if there's going to be that one dominant player that just takes over. And just to talk about this series, that series. What I learned is that Jason Tatum, what we've been learning is Jason Tatum is that guy, and to kind of combine the 2 game sevens, we talked about when we did our 25 and under a couple weeks ago. All of us had the same 3, just in kind of a different orders. It was Tatum, it was Booker, and it was Luka. Me and you both had Luka number 1. So you look at those 3 players. Luka's clearly, you saw. I mean, we're about to talk about Phoenix. You saw what he did to Phoenix. I mean, Luka's disrespectful now. Like Luka is 23 years old and he's disrespectful already. Like it's too easy. Patrick Beverly missed to get under your skin, even admitted to it. They don't want to see. Nobody wants to see Luka. Everyone is scared to play against him. This little Slovenian kid.
And what's funny about the whole thing is we were knocking that they were too small. They were too small. That team was small.
They don't give a damn. Luka, hey, and yo, this is 07. This is 07 LeBron, where it just doesn't make sense how he's getting this far. And then second on my list is Jason. I don't know if I have Jason Tatum or Devin Booker 2 or 3, but Jason Tatum is clearly that guy. And Devin Booker, he came up like mini-me. He came up like mini-me in the biggest stage of it all, on his home court, defending Western Conference champions. He came up like mini-me. And Jason Tatum would not allow that to happen. Obviously, we know Luka would not allow that to happen. So from that Boston-Milwaukee series, my respect for Jason Tatum has grown even more. Even last night against Miami, he played well, but Miami's just good. Miami's just really good. So my respect level for Jason Tatum is really high right now. We're about to see what the next 10 years looks like for the East, but Tatum is here.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off that Game 7 on the West Coast, like Luka Doncic is very dominant player, and you have to give that man his flowers. Like, very humble and very assassinating type player, man, that can kill your character immediately. Like, I couldn't believe it watching it. Like, something my gut was telling me the whole time. I was like, Dallas is gonna win this. I feel like Dallas is
win this or blow the doors off the damn of a Phoenix.
I didn't think blow the doors.
Nobody saw that coming.
They blow, like, I know Luka plays kind of cocky, but I never saw that level of cocky of Luka in my lifetime.
This is a Luka that you got to be scared of, bro, because he's good. That's a scary Luka.
You have to be. Like when he dropped Cam Johnson and just like
at the top of the key. Oh, that was beautiful.
Like, who is this man? And then walking out the tunnel, talking all that, like,
yeah.
I was like,
Luka's, that's some scary shit.
But who do you? I mean, let's transition now into Chris Paul, I guess, because the media is like giving him a whole lot of shit for his Game 7 performance. Like, do you give him all of the blame on this, or no. I feel like it's a team effort.
At the end of the day, DeAndre Ayton disappeared and they got benched.
The big 3 shit the bed.
Devin Booker was ass. Mikal Bridges, your favorite player, can't guard nobody no more, can't shoot. And then you started to really see, remember when Anthony Davis was talking shit earlier this year? Like, if I didn't get hurt last year, we would have definitely won that series, right? They were up 2-1. They would have definitely won the series had Anthony Davis not got hurt. And I feel like last year's run to the finals, and I kind of alluded to it last year. I'm like, it feels kind of fluky. It feels kind of fluky that they made it to the finals because they kept catching breaks. And who did they play round 1? Phoenix.
Last year or this
year? Oh, no, this year. They played New Orleans round 1, right? And New Orleans pushed them to the brink. New Orleans, the 10th seed, pushed them to the brink of elimination. And God forbid if Zion was healthy, would have played, they would have beat Phoenix in round 1. And then Lucas saw that, like, nobody's scared of Phoenix. And Patrick Beverly alluded to it. Nobody's scared of Phoenix. And at the end of the day, as much as we love Chris Paul and whatever, he is 37 years old. You're asking a lot of a guy who has chronic hamstring injuries and this injury and quad injuries. And he always gets hurt at this time of year, especially now at his age of 37. I know he had a couple of magnificent games in the postseason. He's still 37 years old. At the end of the day, your young guns, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, need to be the one that takes you home. And they didn't show up. And they picked a bad day to have a bad day. Plain and simple. But I'm not going to give Chris Paul all that blame. I mean, what the hell do you want him to do? Like, damn, that's a lot to ask for a guy who's 6 foot tall, with 37 years old with a bad, quote unquote, bad quad this time. I don't know. Devin Booker should have, because we talk about Luka and Jason Tatum. Devin Booker needed to step up. Plain and simple.
Yeah, and even at that, you got a team of mini-me's out there, and DeAndre Ayton should be like balling over these dudes, man.
That was the embarrassing part.
That was very so like, if you're going, because obviously he's a free agent, if you're going to go get that max money, you really hurt yourself right now, in my opinion.
You still gonna get the max. It's not. Look, I think. Let me explain. I think he just checked out. I think mentally he was just like, I don't know if he wants. I don't know how much he wants to be there. We're gonna see. Obviously, we're obviously, the finals are not even over yet, so we don't know what's going on in free agency. But I don't know. I think mentally he checked out, and he's a young guy, and we're so in today's NBA, we're so hard on people who are young. Back in the day, you didn't get your flowers until you were 27, 28, 29 years old. Now, by 22, if you're not this, that, or the third, you're a bust. You're a bum. That in 24-hour news cycle, Twitter's gonna blow you up.
Man, but he's no slouch.
I know, I'm just saying, but like, that's the problem. And it's that he's still a kid. At the end of the day, he's still a kid, and he's gonna, he flamed out, and it happens. But he's still got 10 more years of his career to prove himself. So I'm not gonna, they've made it to an NBA Finals. I don't know if the window is completely closed, but Golden State is going to be good again next year. Luka's obviously going to be back again next year. Portland, you got Damian Lillard behind you. Portland's going to do something. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to do something. The Pelicans obviously got better. So the West is going to get harder next year. So the window might be closed. Chris Paul's getting old. DeAndre Ayton might leave. So I think this might have been their last chance for a while for them to really make some noise.
Yeah, my perception of DeAndre Ayton is exactly what you said. Is we put a lot of pressure on young stars, and it's a dime a dozen. Like guys like Luka that have been doing this since they were 15, playing for probably one of the largest overseas organizations in Real, and just budding as a young star there, putting up with that,
winning championships at that.
Yeah. So that's rare to see. You're not going to get that out of a lot of guys, but DeAndre Ayton coming right out of Arizona, being the first overall pick to be eclipsed by Devin Booker, and then you get Chris Paul. Like, I mean, I get that. And, I'm like I said, I put the blame on the big three in Phoenix is what the blame goes on to me. You can't put it on Chris Paul at the end of the day. Yes, he doesn't win those big games that he should, but there's also some unfortunate things happen, like injuries that always play into these things. And at what point do we just say, like you said, he's a 37-year-old man. Like, this is tough enough for him. Should he have shot more? Yes. But at this point in his career, he's more of a facilitator than he is a scorer. Will we see him put up some 20-point games? Yeah. But he'll probably lose those games by 5 points because the other teams didn't show up, or the other players didn't show up either. So, and it doesn't help that not one single, like Greg Williams, for example, for Boston. Greg Williams was on the other night, and Greg Williams usually
was it 27 points or something like that?
Yeah, it was damn near 30. And Greg Williams ain't gonna ever shoot like that.
Grant Williams.
Grant Williams, yeah. It's crazy to see something like that happen, but you didn't get that out of the Phoenix game. Like we were saying, Campaign should show up. Campaign didn't show up at all.
Campaign, hey, LeBron told him to be humble. And guess what?
Have a job.
Guess what? Exactly. And you know who I can't stand? And I don't feel bad for this guy. I don't like Jay Crowder, so I don't feel bad for him at all.
I don't either. Like
I think anywhere he goes, he's a curse. So he lost to Miami when they played against LeBron. He lost when he was. I'm trying to think of else has been. Obviously with Phoenix. So I think this is his fault. He's just a curse.
he's like a fake goon to me when I see him. Like he wants to be tough, but he's just like super soft every time I see him.
I would say he's soft. He's just.
I
He's
don't.
not. He's not like
He's not Morris brother.
He's,
He's not
oh
a
yeah,
Morris
I was about to,
brother.
he's not the Morris twins. Doesn't say that. He wants to be. He's not the Morris twins.
Yeah, he's not the
Yo,
Morris brother. Those are
yo,
guys I'm trying to
real quick. So I'm looking at Luka Doncic. I'm just looking at his his accolades. Right, he's 23 years old. Right,
23. I cannot believe that.
He was born in 1999. I mean, he's literally almost born in this century. He has 3-time NBA All-Star, All NBA First Team twice, Rookie of the Year, EuroLeague champion, EuroLeague MVP.
I looked at this before the show.
He's on an All-Decade team, EuroLeague already. He's on the All-Decade team in Europe. He has, I mean, God, his accolades are crazy. And you know what's even crazier? Atlanta traded him to Dallas. he was a 3rd overall pick over DeAndre Ayton, Marvin Bagley. Where the hell is Marvin Bagley right now? Indiana or some shit like that.
Detroit.
And DeAndre Ayton got benched in Game 7. He played 17 minutes. And Trae Young got destroyed by Miami in round 1 this year. And here go Luka, little old Luka. And they want to call it an even trade. It's only even because Trae Young fits Atlanta. That's all. Yeah. That's the only even part about it. And Luka was willing to take on the mantle that Dirk Nowitzki passed down to him. That part is what made sense. But outside of that, we're gonna look back in 20 years, and then we're gonna be telling, like, I'm gonna be telling my kids, they're gonna say, Dad, why was Luka Doncic the number 3 overall pick? That's crazy, right? You know how, like, we talk about Michael Jordan was the number 3 overall pick. I'm like, I don't know, son. I don't know.
So my rebuttal to that is, I mean, yeah, we can play that narrative, but I feel like throughout the seasons, like as we do these shows or we talk about sports and things like that, we forget about how good some players are. Like we forget about how good Luka is when he gets that first round exit out the playoffs, and we don't talk about it anymore. Now that he's succeeding, we talk about it.
Even with those first round exits, he was giving them 40.
He was, but we don't talk about that. We just like it disappears.
Look. I as a Luka fan would talk about it.
I'm a Luka fan too.
Dog.
I'm a Luka fan too, but I'm telling you, media will focus on everything else. Where did the Hawks go last year? How far did they get?
They made it. But that's because Ben Simmons didn't want to dunk the ball. And
regardless, we can say that, but they still got there. Mop Top beat my team. Mop Top beat your team. Luka's in the same spot.
No, but Luka
could very well go to the finals.
Luka is like that, though. That's the difference.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm saying as of right now in the narrative, they're in the same spots. Now let's see what Luka can. I think the sky is the limit for the man. He's probably one of my favorite players in the NBA to watch, and just watching him cook the Suns, have a solar eclipse on the Suns was the greatest thing for me because, I mean, we're going to get into the Pat Bev thing and just like I've never been scared of the Suns. I always thought the Suns were just
coached very well.
Coached very well. Yes.
That's all it is. They're hella coached well.
I feel like they don't use Ayton enough. And I feel like Devin Booker is a great athlete and he's one of those guys that are, going up the ladder for me. But I just feel like there's no it factor for me to take over games. Yeah, he scored 71 in a game or whatever, but
that was beautiful to watch, by the way.
It was.
I blame Kendall Jenner. That's why he can't. That's why he doesn't have
Kardashian curse is real.
He got cursed.
We know that, but like when the rubber meets to meet the road, like you always say, I never get it out of him.
Yeah.
And they talk a lot of shit. And if you can't back up the shit,
amen.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't go to your workouts with your shirts off and say, put in the hard work. That's what happened.
And real talk. I honestly believe that the reason why Phoenix Suns are not in the finals again is because they talk way too much shit and they don't focus on the game. Like Devin Booker's talking about that's a Luka special. And they talk so much shit. Campaign always talking. Jay Crowder's always talking. They talk. Chris Paul, for that matter, is always talking. And I feel like they talk way too much shit for a team of guys who've never accomplished anything. None of them have accomplished a damn. I mean, Chris Paul obviously has, he's a Hall of Famer. I'm talking about winning a title. None of them have won a title. You can't talk all that shit if you never won a title, in my opinion, because you're going to get humbled. And Luka has won titles has won an MVP. Like Luka has been playing professional basketball since he was going through puberty. I mean, damn. So to me, and then I always go back and look at Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul got cursed because he kicked that dude in the nuts when he was at Wake Forest. And ever since then, there's been something that happens to him every single year. Every year, something happens to him. And I'm like, it's because of that kick. And people have been calling him a dirty player forever. But like Pat Bev was saying, they're like, why doesn't Chris Paul get all the hate and vitriol? Because, well, he's the president of the players union. He has the State Farm commercials. He doesn't seem like an intimidating guy. So it's like
he's clean. He's a clean guy.
He's clean. He hangs out with LeBron. You know, LeBron whoever hangs out with LeBron gonna protect you. For as much as he can, he gonna protect you. So that he has that going for him. I mean, it's tough.
All right. So let's preview the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference final. Which one excites you more?
Which one excites me more? I want to see Luka take. I want to see Luka take this team to the NBA Finals. I want to see some 07 LeBron shit where we look back at this team 10 years from now, and we're going to talk about. I mean, Spencer Dinwiddie is a good player. Jalen Brunson is a good player.
Budding.
But come on, that's it. I mean, what's his name? Finney Smith.
Dog.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is not even playing. They got rid of Kristaps Porzingis and brought in Bertans. Like, they got Kleber. Like, we're 10 years from now, I'm like, yo, who are those guys that won again? And we look back at the Mavericks team that won back in 2011, and it has a very similar makeup. They got the unguardable player. Dirk Nowitzki during that finals run was unguardable. Nobody could guard him. They swept the Lakers. They beat Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. They beat Brandon Roy in Portland. They beat Miami Heat. He was unguardable. But then they had the Jason Terry. And to me, the Jason Terry of this series is probably going to be like a Spencer Dinwiddie, right? You look at the other team. They had Tyson Chandler. Like, I don't know. They just had a bunch of guys. But it wasn't like
Tyson Chandler. They don't have a Tyson Chandler.
It wasn't like, but it was just a bunch of guys. It wasn't anybody that like blew your socks off.
No, but I feel like that Dallas team had just a lot of veterans that were hungry. Like
Sean Marion, Jason Kidd. Yeah, no, that was a veteran team.
They had a good core of veterans.
This is a young team, actually. So, no, this is just, if he takes his team to the finals, I'm already putting it in my top 25 all time. Already.
I'm excited. I'm more excited for Boston and Miami.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want Luka to do good, and for some reason, I'm liking the Warriors.
Yeah, you're a Warriors fan now.
I'm not a Warriors fan.
No. You said it 2 weeks ago. You're a Warriors fan.
I'm rooting for them because I honestly didn't think Luka could get over that hump, but now that Luka's there, like, I'm fine if he takes the Warriors.
Oh yeah, it was going to be Golden State versus Phoenix. You would have definitely went for Golden State.
There's just something about them I can't stand in Phoenix, and I think it's just the shit talking. But it's hard for me because I like Mikal Bridges, and I like Chris Paul, and everybody wants Chris Paul to win one. You know, you got to root for the guy.
You know what? You saw what I tweeted the other day. I think Jimmy Butler deserves the championship more than Chris Paul.
Jimmy Butler definitely
Butler has never cheated the game of basketball.
He keeps it a buck every time.
He gives it, bro. That final series that they played against LeBron, I remember it was game 3 or game 4 where he just went bonkers. I'm like, yo, Jimmy Butler, regular season, he's kind of just, regular guy, right? When the postseason is on, that dude goes like up to another level. And we always talk about the best two-way player. We got Kawhi Leonard, we talk Paul George, and it's always been like Jimmy Butler's third. I'm like, no, Jimmy Butler has done way more than Paul George. And then obviously Kawhi did his thing, but Kawhi never plays. Never plays.
Would we be singing Jimmy Butler praises right now if it wasn't for how deep he's gotten in the playoffs?
But he gets his team deep every year.
He does. That's the thing.
Does well.
But we don't sing his praises enough. And now you're seeing players like Joel Embiid come out and publicly say, I don't know why we kept him. I wish I was with him.
Well, he said that a couple years ago too.
He did, but I've been saying, like, Jimmy Butler is so unappreciated in the NBA. Like, Jimmy Butler he's got to be top 10 for me because he gets shit done. He gets you there, and when he needs to take over, like he did yesterday,
bro, unguardable. I was like, what? Kevin Durant couldn't do all of this. What did they do? Well, Al Horford and Marcus Smart didn't play. So to the credit of the Boston Celtics, with Tony Sports and all you Boston fans, to their credit, Al Horford is going to be out again, expected to be out again game 2. And obviously you don't want to fall down 2-0 to this Miami team because they don't lose at home and they will still win on the road. That's just how they're built. But to their credit, those two didn't play. But still, Jimmy Butler made it look easy. He made it look easy.
I think what Jimmy capitalizes the best on is having a good team around him that loves to play the game as much as he does.
Yeah.
And when they start to fall and he's not getting the production he wants out of it, then he can capitalize.
You know what it is with him? He needs people who are mentally tough.
Exactly.
When he was with Chicago, he had it for a little bit with Joakim Noah. Those guys are tough, but they weren't a good basketball team. He goes to Minnesota, they were weak. He literally shat on them in practice and dipped, right? He goes to Philly, and you got the weakest mind in the world, Ben Simmons, right? And that wasn't going to work. And then at that time, we still had Markelle Fultz. That wasn't going to work. We had two guys who were mentally not good. And then Embiid always hurt, right? And then now he's on a team, Bam Adebayo's tough. PJ Tucker, who I said when Milwaukee lost him, I thought that was one of the biggest losses of the offseason. I'm like, PJ Tucker made Giannis's life easier, made Chris Middleton's life easier, just because he will defend Kevin Durant. He will go defend your team's other best player. And then you have Victor Oladipo
at the 3-point line in the corner.
Yeah, and then he go stand in that corner and hit clutch 3 after clutch 3. You have Strus. Who the hell is Max Strus? But we see that man, he comes off with a high screen and roll, cash. He's just hitting threes all day. Tyler Hero's a dog. They got a bunch of dogs on that team. It's hard to beat a bunch of dogs.
There is 6 undrafted players on that team.
Gabe Vincent
got a role for themselves. That's insane.
So Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley, Mickey Arison, now the development team, everybody in that Miami culture. I've said this before. If LeBron James played his whole career with the Miami Heat, he would have 7 rings. I promise you that, because they get the best out of, and they know, and they're tactical, they're smart. There's a good culture, and it's in the Heat. So all these free agents he couldn't attract in Cleveland, they sure as hell would have came down to Miami. Clearly, he goes to Miami. He proved that. As soon as he got to Miami, I go play with him. So, in my honest estimation, if he was there for his whole career, 7, easy. And look, Jimmy Butler's already been to an NBA Finals with this team, and he's about to get to it. He's about to get another number 1 overall seed, and he's going to get to the NBA Finals probably again. So, you got to give this man his credit and give him his flowers where he can smell it.
I've always been a Jimmy Butler fan. I always say that he's the NBA player that's not mostly talked about when he should be, because if you look at this team, and if we really wanted to go by accolades and things that they've won, yeah, we can say PJ Tucker is a champion. Yeah, we can say, Kyle Lowry might be the most decorated outside of that. Yeah, we can say Victor Oladipo has, been on an NBA, I think, first or second team or something like that in a few All-Star games. But really, who the hell is Strus? Who is Gabe Vincent?
Nigerian. Tyler Hero he's come along, 6th man of the year.
Tyler Hero this year he has. Okay,
yeah.
He got he definitely stepped it up, because I didn't see it in Tyler Hero the last 2 years. I saw it as rookie year. I was like, okay, this could be something. Then we saw that major dip. And then we saw him just come up, for a whale just coming out the water to prove it.
It's crazy. I mean, they're just they're a well-ran team. I mean, you're talking about guys who are undrafted, but they're all tough-minded people. At the end of the day, you got to be tough. You got to be tough.
They're guys that come from the trenches and can play. And Tyler Hero got this black swaggy style on him now, and I mean, I don't know if it's just rubbing off or what.
No, this is how he's always been. I heard this is how he was in college. This is how he was in high school. This is who he is.
He's from Wisconsin.
Yeah, but the thing is that some people try too hard. I don't even think he tries at all. I think he's literally just being himself, and and Jimmy Butler. You could tell Jimmy Butler loves that.
I know, and the thing about Bam is I feel like Bam could be more dominant. But Bam is also he's such a good facilitator
I
too.
want Bam to be better offensively. He needs to. I need him to go like spend some time with Hakeem Olajuwon, get his footwork right, because
I do
he
too.
has such potential to be like damn superstar, like superstar. But to me, he's still just a star. I mean, he's made some All-Star games. He's all defensive player. He's defensive player of the year candidate. But
I think what I like about him is like he knows his role on the team. Like he doesn't want to overstep whoever he doesn't need to overstep until like it's that time. And I think everybody fits the mold. Like we saw Duncan Robinson doing very well the last 2 years, and like this year he obviously took a dip. And you're seeing that in his playing time. You're not seeing him out there as much now.
You know who should have been more like Bam Adebayo? DeAndre Ayton. Like that's all Phoenix needed him to do in that game 7. Be like Bam. Just don't you don't have to overstep your boundary, but if you have a mouse in the house, take advantage of that. Outside of that, go block some shots and facilitate and make life easier for Chris Paul and Devin Booker and all the other guys to be successful.
You got a mouse in the house.
A mouse in the house. Take advantage of that shit.
I love it. I love it. All right. Shifting over. I mean, how do you see the Boston Miami series playing out?
If they go down 0-2, I know Boston showed some resiliency in that Milwaukee series. They were down 3-2 and had to win game 6 in Milwaukee. And they came back in game 7 and
Miami's a different when Miami fans show up.
If they stay the course as far as health, I mean Kyle Lowry didn't even play game 1. And that's another element that they can add to the mix. So I gotta ride with Miami on this one. I think for all year round, even when they went through the little struggles and the fighting and all the bullshit, that's because they got bored. At the end of the day, when you're so good, you get bored at some point. And I think this got bored when that happened.
Family ties, man.
And then Eric Spoelstra woke up the dog and Jimmy Butler, like, all right. And Udonis Haslem, Udonis Haslem not going to let him. Udonis Haslem has dealt with Boston for years. UD is not letting Boston win that series. Trust me.
He's there to throw hands at all times.
No, trust me. Udonis Haslem will not allow that Boston team to win because it's personal with Miami. Like this rivalry has been going on for a decade now, and it ain't going away.
Yeah, Tony, I hate to say it, man. Like I'm enjoying seeing the Boston run, but I just feel like White is not reliable. He's not consistent, and I don't know. I just feel like there's some things that aren't clicking there like it does in Miami. But I could see it going 7 games. I could also see it going to 6. If they go down,
I think it might go 7, to be honest with you. But if game 7 will be in Miami. Miami is undefeated at home this postseason, so I think that's going to remain the same.
There's an end to everything, man. So you never know. But I see Miami coming victorious in 7 is what I see. All right, let's talk about the Warriors in Dallas real quick, man. Like, I mean, I said the same thing in the last thing. It's going to be tough for Luka to get past it because they're too tiny, but the Warriors are also tiny too. They're not that big.
The Warriors are tiny as well, but Kevon Looney finally played in game 6 and he had like 23 rebounds or some shit like that. So there goes to show you that when they want to play big, they can play big, but they want to do that death lineup. So they have all shooters on the floor and Draymond Green being the big man, which against Dallas, that will work.
House.
Because Kleber ain't gonna take advantage of the mouse in the house.
Soft, bro.
Kleber ain't gonna take advantage of no mouse in the house. So Draymond Green will be on. Will rotate to that, and then it's just who's gonna shoot the best at this point. Who's gonna shoot the best?
That's true. It's gonna come down to that.
That's all it comes down to in this series.
And Finney Smith he's a dog, bro. Like. Yeah. I really appreciate his play. He can have a game where he scores like 2 points a game, but he gets in your head, and he's a good player at doing that. And there'll be games he'll drop 23, and you're like, how does he do this? So I shit on his game a lot, but I do respect it watching it more than I've seen in the playoffs on how he plays. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be interesting because we're going to see Luka. This is another step forward in Luka's resume for me. If he can get over this hump and go to the finals, that'll be crazy because I feel like this will be the I wouldn't say the worst constructed team, but like a team of nobodies and Luka going to the NBA finals, which would be insane. And I wouldn't say Luka holds the torch because Spencer Dinwiddie has held his own with them as well. And so has Jalen Brunson as well and Finney Smith. So they're just budding. They're budding stars.
Luka Doncic is number one all time in points per game in the playoffs over Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, Kevin Durant.
40 points a game, man.
Oh, no, in game 7, that's for game 7. All time, it's just he's 33.5 points a game, just all across the playoffs. And Golden State, they're not the same defensive team like they used to be. You know, like back in the day, Klay Thompson can get in the chair and guard anybody. Draymond Green can guard anybody. Draymond Green can still guard. And he's still going to be a difference making on defense. But Klay Thompson ain't guarding nobody like that no more. And who the hell in Golden State is going to guard Steph Curry? Because not Steph Curry, Luka Doncic. Because if you put Draymond Green on Luka Doncic, Draymond Green's going to have 4 fouls in the first half. So that's going to be the tricky part. You might have to put Andrew Wiggins on him because he has the size. But I don't know. But I just don't know who's going to stop Luka. I mean, if they go like boxing one on Luka, then maybe. But I don't know. They're going to have to stop Luka, and
Luka's going to get his points. We know that, man.
But will the other guys show up? Is the question. In this level of competition, like do you think they'll have enough confidence to step up in this kind of a high pressured situation?
There's 2 organizations that do this well: the Miami Heat and the Golden State Warriors. Yeah. So let's not act like they haven't been to.
I'm talking about Dallas. Will they be able to step up?
Oh. That's going to be the test.
Because obviously Golden State's not nervous. I'm talking about Dallas. Like these are a lot of these guys' first time in this kind of a situation. So do you think they'll have enough confidence to deal with the 4-time or 3-time defending champion Golden State? Well, no, how many they got? They got 4. No, they got 3. They got 3. 3-time defending champion Golden State Warriors. You think they'll be able to deal with that kind of pressure? Because game 1, it's going to be loud in the Bay.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And Jalen Brunson's got a national championship ring, and Luka's well decorated overseas, but that doesn't translate to an NBA Finals game.
What the hell does Kleber have?
Some good passes.
What the hell's Maxi Kleber got? He ain't got no shit. He ain't got no skin in the game.
the mouse in the house.
But hey, you know what though? The one person that can get them to be okay, Jason Kidd. I think Jason Kidd had more to do with that Lakers winning the championship than Vogel. And this is the problem that I have with the Lakers front office with Jeannie Buss, and now Phil Jackson is trying to call shots now. Are you kidding me? Do you know what Phil Jackson did to your New York Knicks? He ran y'all to the ground. Don't
remind me, please.
Y'all went from second round playoff team to Derek Fisher, Jeff Hornacek, of Mitch Kupchak. Like, what the hell are y'all doing? Anyway, so now Jeannie Buss listened to Phil Jackson again, and they should have hired Ty Lue. They should have hired Jason Kidd. They should have hired Monty Williams, but they went with Frank Vogel. Coach of the year, Jason Kidd just beat the #1 seed, and Ty Lue, the Clippers own the Lakers now, ever since Ty Lue got there. So clearly the joke was on the Buss family. And Jason Kidd, for what it's worth, he might be coming up. Like, you know how Steve Kerr, once he hit it, it was on for him, right? And you know the point guards, it's the point guards who are coaches, they know what the hell they're doing. They know what the hell they're doing. So all time, I go back, I always say Jason Kidd, top 5 point guard all time to me. And I know he kind of flamed out in Milwaukee and all that stuff, but the dude can coach. And if he gets Luka to just, because think about it, they got rid of Carlisle last year, and I think because he could not coach Luka. And now Jason Kidd's like, I'll coach him. And he's with the analytical bullshit. He was like, we just got to shoot more threes. And that's what they've been doing. They just keep shooting threes.
He's also a point guard.
He's a point guard, yeah.
And Jason Kidd's pretty tall. He's like 6'4". I mean, he's no 6'7", but
yeah, he's 6'4". So, but he was a big point guard for his day. Like, he was still like a bigger point guard.
it's gonna be a fun series, and I'm thinking Game 7 too for it as well.
I don't
I
know.
see 7 or 6 and out of this.
I'll say Golden State 7-6.
I just
I want
I
Luka to make it so
six
badly
too.
though, but it's gonna be hard, man.
I think we're going to be entertained because this is the type of stuff that we should be treated to watch, and we need to appreciate because you're watching a young star, and it's crazy to say a young star because he's been playing professional since like 16 years old. Like we're seeing his NBA career take off now. Now just imagine what they can put around him next year if they can keep this team together and add some pieces. Like they're literally one piece away from being a contender every year, like a like literally Western Conference Finals contender every year in my book.
Yeah,
Because Luka just gets you there. He facilitates and does everything you need to do. And this animal we're seeing in the playoffs, I love it. That Cam Johnson step back
yeah.
shot,
It was
that
dirty.
talking, I'm loving that
We are
American
here for
culture.
that.
Yes, I'm loving American culture is getting to him, and it's great. And I remember right before the game they interviewed him, and unscathed. They were like, Charles Barkley was so gun ho on the Suns, and even Shaq and Kenny were like, "Nah, it's gonna be the Mavericks." And dude, like just seeing the way he carries himself, how calm, like he doesn't play fast paced basketball. He does not play fast. He tailors the game around him,
Yeah.
and he's just so calm. And the last time I saw that was like really LeBron. LeBron plays to his speed. When he needs to speed up, he'll speed up. And Luka just plays to his speed, and he's dominant. And
And who did LeBron did a Q&A the other day. They asked him who his favorite player was. He said Luka Doncic. Listen, when I saw Luka start playing, I'm like, yeah, that's young Bron right there. That's 2022. That's 2020 LeBron. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting, but it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be
it's
hard.
gonna be hard.
Well, you know what, Luke? I was talking to my friend Daryl, and we're talking about like what Luka could use. You know what LeBron James needed early when he got to when he knew who he wanted to be? He needed a Chris Bosh, he needed a Kevin Love, and now he needed an Anthony Davis. He needs a 4 or a 5 that's willing to crash, do the dirty work, block some shots, and hit a corner 3. And that's all he needs. Because I think Chris Bosh made LeBron James' life a lot easier because he doesn't clog the paint. He's you can count on him to make those big shots. He's gonna defend well. He's gonna rebound well, right? Kevin Love. We talk about a guy that used to get 30 rebounds in the game, but we knew he improved his jump shot while he got LeBron. He was still doing the dirty work that he needed to do. And now you see Anthony Davis. If Anthony Davis can stay healthy, we would have seen a lot more out of him. But that's something that Luka needs. He needs that caliber of player because they try to with Kristaps, but Kristaps is not built like that. And so I think going into next, we'll see how they do this year, but Bertans and Kleber are not going to be the answer to Luka's problem. So, but we'll see. I mean, hey, we never know.
Powell was that?
Yeah.
He's from Stanford. He's soft. Anyway,
not Powell. Boban, Marjanovic.
That's the guy who needs to play more. I'm sorry.
But they try. He's too big and slow, bro.
I love me some, but he's big. I love that. I love me
He's
some.
Big and slow.
All right, let's transition to NBA players. A la Pat Bev doing his ESPN greatest show tour. Obviously he has all of the NBA chirping up against him for the most part, in the way he's taking on blaming Chris Paul. Do you think that he personally has it out for Chris Paul? Or do you think
clearly, yeah, he talked about it. He said it started when he was in camp, with LeBron camp. He said he busted his ass then, and then he never got the respect or love or whatever it was. But my question back to you, do you think as a current player, because they're like a fraternity, they're a big fraternity.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a current player, do you think he has the legs or the merit to be able to talk about Chris Paul in that matter?
That was my next question.
And then B, should he be saying all the stuff that he's been saying, even if he doesn't have the legs or the merit as an active player? Do you think that it's okay for him to say all the things he said, half the things he said, the cone part? I don't know, like where do you stand on all that?
I think I think hearing Pat Bev say that, I just think he's a pure hater. So I honestly have to side on that. Like, I just think, what has Pat Bev done that everybody's like, ooh, ah, over? This is probably the deepest I can say Pat Bev has gone, and people have been like, ooh, ah, over his
No,
stuff.
the Clippers made it to a couple conference finals.
But he's a good defender. But
all NBA defense 3 times. That's
okay.
that he has that.
First team, second team, what?
I gotta look that
at
up.
All. I think second and third. Pat Bev is what the Phoenix Suns are. They talk a lot of shit
for somebody who hasn't accomplished shit.
For someone who hasn't accomplished a lot of shit in their life. Okay. Yes, he was well decorated overseas. He came to the United States and got drafted and
worked his ass off. All right. He was second time All NBA second team and first All NBA first team defensive one. So 1 NBA defensive 1 team and then 2 defensive second teams. That's still good.
It's still good.
He was a Euro Cup MVP in 2012, Russian Cup Defensive Player of the Year, Russian. I mean, he's done his shit.
He's decorated
SEC Freshman of the Year, slam dunk competition winner.
he's decorated defensively. Okay, but let's be honest. Like, Pat Bev talks that shit, but Pat Bev ain't winning nothing. Pat Bev is just like the Suns, like we just said. He'll talk all of that smack about somebody, and if you have a person, I don't know. I just feel like as a man at this point in your life, it's more of like put up or shut up type of stuff to me. You know, if you got a vendetta against Chris Paul, go beat his ass, send him home. You know, don't go out and blast a man on national TV that everybody's going to back, and everybody in the sane mind, you know, is not out there like personally headhunting him. You're just making yourself look like a hater by doing this. And is Chris Paul soft? I could see it. Is he a cone? Chris Paul can be soft sometimes. Chris Paul cries to the refs. Paul,
that's not soft to me though. That's more
that can be soft to me. That can hurt your character. But is Chris Paul a competitor? He's definitely a competitor. Does Chris Paul, you know, go out there and put on a good NBA game? Except for that game 7 and a couple other games we saw in the playoffs of him disappear. But other than that, he's consistently in. What do we say that every team that's on the brink of being good, what are they missing? A Chris Paul. So if that's a common thing, like Chris Paul, I've been getting into it with another friend who's like, Chris Paul isn't in my top 10 point guard list of all time. I'm like, you're crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy not to put him up there. Like, he put
relax. That's too much.
Yeah, and that's a personal vendetta you might have against Chris Paul. But if you look at his game and the way he plays the game, he's a pure all-around point guard.
You know what he's the black John Stockton of today. That's what he is.
He's a black John Stockton that could score 20 points a game, though. John Stockton couldn't score, 20 points a game.
And in John Stockton's career, he never averaged 20 points a game once.
Exactly.
However, let's look at Chris Paul.
26, I think, is the highest he scored a game.
That is, well, not in a single game.
No, in a season.
Who? Paul?
Yeah, I think 26.
He's averaged 20 points a game twice only.
Oh wow!
One was 22 and one was 21. So, and that's and scoring is up these days compared to what the 90s was. So again, he is. I mean, his career average is 18 points and 9 assists, and then John Stockton's. I think it was just a tick. Oh. It was like 10 and a half assists and 13 points. So he's just today's age John Stockton. And John Stockton, and look at John Stockton, he never won nothing either. He almost got there. Yeah.
I put the tweet out the other day too. Like, if John Stockton was in this era, would he be getting during this era, would he be getting the same kind of blame that Chris Paul is getting?
Yes, he would. And that's the problem. The 90s players and 80s players were all protected because there wasn't social media. There wasn't 24-hour coverage of sports.
At the end of the day, like you said, it's a fraternity. Okay. All these guys pledged the same chapter. They pledged NBA. They chose NBA over MLB, NBA, MLS, NHL. That's the fraternity they pledged. And for you to go on, you're a man and you're gonna have your own opinions on things. And I never fault a man for what he thinks, but the way you handle it is another thing. For you to go on ESPN and go on 4 different shows, okay, not one, but if they had Pat Bev for one show, okay, but he went on 4 different ones. Right. He even got in it with Woj. Exactly, the ESPN tour. And he even got at it with Woj, who's like one of the most respected people in NBA, like what do you call it? Commentary or like
Brian Windhorst too.
Exactly. Like if you're gonna get into it, like, dude, you're rubbing the wrong feathers. Like you're rustling the wrong feathers of people. And then the people that pledge the same fraternity of you, the Matt Barnes, the KDs, the Dame Lillard.
The KD saying like he walking around, he's Tupac. I think that we don't know if that was directed at Pat Bev, but I think it was.
It was. And you're pissing off the people in the same fraternity as you. These people are protected. And I mean, I look at it like Lance Stevenson. Lance Stevenson got under, LeBron's last nerve, but at the end of the day, LeBron came out on top
but the difference between Lance and Pat is that Lance had a little bit more respect. He just in the game, he tried everything he could to get under your skin, but he will still dap you up at the end and he won't go and do his media tour. The thing about Pat Bev, and that's why like this conversation, this is who Pat Bev is on the court. Like how he was on ESPN these last couple of days is who he is on the court, because that is the only way he would have gotten into the league. He had to be a pest. I think he hurt, like he went for like a loose ball against Russell Westbrook when he was in Houston on the sideline and caused Russell Westbrook need to be messed up a little bit. Like this is who he is though. This is how he has to play, because he did have to go overseas to China and Russia and all that stuff because he couldn't get drafted. And if he really did bust up Chris Paul while he was in camp, only for him to get sent overseas, I'd be pissed off too. So, yes, he needs to calm the hell down talking about Chris Paul in the matter that he talked about him. But I'm not mad at him for being critical of him. I mean, I wouldn't call him a cone. I wouldn't say all that. But I would say this. I would say, yeah, no one fears Phoenix. That is fair, because I've heard Steven Jackson say stuff like that. I've heard Kendrick Perkins say stuff like that. It's easy to tell if a team fears another team or not. That's clear. So that's not out of bounds. But outside of that, I mean, ESPN is going to do whatever it can to make some money. And when they realize they had this fiery ass guy that's willing to be on TV, hey, I mean, I've heard Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal say some disrespectful shit, but we laugh it off and like, hey, Kiki, whatever. But that's because they're old. Pat Bev in 20 years, if he's still doing the same thing, we're going to laugh and kiki about it because he's old. But as an active player, he probably needed to tone that down a little bit because, bro, like you're going to want to be on a roster next year.
They're also marketable and well-liked as opposed to somebody like a Pat Bev who no one's like drawing like, oh, I got to go get me a Pat Bev jersey. Like,
question. If Pat Bev played for the Knicks, how would you feel about it? Would he? Because think about it. He's the kind of guy that if he plays for your team, like I'll put up with it. So would you put up with his actions if you play for the Knicks?
I respect Pat Bev's game because Pat Bev's game translates to the type of player he is. Okay, so I can respect that. Can I tolerate him? No. But if he brings that defensive scrappiness and that's what the team wants to rally around, like I feel like Pat Bev is only going to get along with younger players because he talks that shit. He makes you work harder. He tries to pull the best out of you. That's why we said it. Imagine if he was on Memphis, how he's going to pull the best out of those guys.
Right, if he was on Memphis,
okay,
that's what they needed.
I feel like him and Anthony Edwards are on the same wavelength of personality wise. Anthony Edwards talks that shit. Anthony Edwards backs it up with his subpar defense and his elite scoring. Pat Bev talks that shit. He puts up with his superb defense and his subpar scoring.
That's
So
fair.
like they
But at
balance.
least Anthony Edwards is funny.
At least
Pat Bev
Anthony
is not that funny to me.
Pat Bev is not funny.
He's not
Pat
funny at
Bev
all.
is almost narcissistic, and it drives me nuts hearing
That's the
Pat.
part. That's the part. Yeah, he's a little bit too narcissistic for me. But
Yeah,
for also, because I think he's trying to find a way to go play with the Lakers. I heard him mention LeBron and the Lakers. Do you think LeBron would be happy to have Pat Bev on his team? I think he would. Weirdly enough,
I think Pat. If LeBron can play with Russell Westbrook, LeBron can play with
if
anybody.
LeBron can play with Lance Stevenson,
Yeah.
he can go back to Cleveland after Dan Gilbert said all that shit he said about him. He can make Draymond Green his number one business partner after Draymond Green called him a bitch and all this shit in the playoffs. If he can do all that, Pat Bev is a walk in the park for him. So do you think that would work out for the Lakers though if they had a Pat Bev kind of player?
I think they needed it. They needed defensive players on there. So I think one wouldn't help. I mean,
Can't shoot though. You know LeBron likes shooters. He can't shoot. I mean, he can shoot a little bit.
You got to have one defensive guy out there, man. So I mean, I'm trying to run through my head of all the players LeBron's played with. Like, there's got to be some defensive guy that's come out there and played with him before. So,
I got one. You know what the Lakers should do? Where they failed to do 2 years ago, they need to go get Chris Paul. That's what they need.
I've been saying that for years now.
If they would have got Chris Paul 2 years ago with this bunch that they have right now, all these problems would have went away.
We need the banana boat. We need the banana boat final tour. Wade needs to get those knees healthy. And
I think Melo need to retire too, though. I think he still can give you 15 points a game, but he can't guard nobody. They take advantage of him on the court. So I don't know about Melo anymore, but I'm happy. I'm happy for Melo, but yeah.
I hope he gets one before he does, but it probably won't happen. Let's talk about Kyrie too on I Am Athlete, kind of airing out his dirty laundry with LeBron James. Did you see that as?
It wasn't really dirty laundry though.
It wasn't.
He finally said something. That's all to me.
Yeah, that's the way I took it too. Yeah. Did you see it though as a mature way of handling it, or did you see it more as like, you know?
I'm flipping it back to you. You are the person that I need to ask about Kyrie, because you know how I feel about Kyrie. I don't have a vendetta against Kyrie. I just think
I truly do not have a vendetta against Kyrie either. I
can pull some clips. You said some harsh things about Kyrie.
No, but that's logical things. Like, the man does not. He's not a man of his word. He said the earth was flat, and then the next time he said, "I don't know why y'all pay attention to things like that." It's clearly not. Like, you literally said that.
Steph Curry did something like that before too. Nobody said anything to Steph.
It doesn't matter. Like, he was very like. Kyrie is one of those people that is invested in something. And like we always say, and I'm not arguing this whatsoever, he means well. He means well by what he is doing. He just doesn't know how to translate that to being well or perceived. Just like I said, when he's fasting during Ramadan and you're supposed to be humble and you're telling people, suck my dick and flipping them off, like you're not living up to what you are.
Yeah.
I have no like Kyrie's game is beautiful. I've never seen somebody as athletic as Kyrie, except for Allen Iverson and Derrick Rose, and now John Morant, get to the hoop and contortionist and get in there and score like he does. It's so smooth. I respect his game. It's only when I see him open his mouth. So my rebuttal to everything is when Kyrie says this, is he steadfast in that belief of that? Or is this going to change down the line? Is he going to flip-flop and say something else? And I told you this before the show. That's my only tip with it. It's nice that he said, and it was like, if I was in an older state of mind now, I would respect that. And, you know, I went on my China tour and they leaked that information and I couldn't have that conversation with LeBron James. If that's true, okay, I can respect that. That's not your fault. That's once again the media getting a hold of things.
Yep.
But you know, that's unfortunate. And it did get drug out. It was very gruesome exit out of Cleveland. But then you fucked the Boston fans and you fucked them hard. Okay. You said, I will resign here. At center court with a microphone.
That part was the part that I was like,
with a microphone.
That part I was like, bruh, that's on you. That's all 100% you.
But
right
that's
there.
what I'm getting at.
Why would you tell him that? Why would you do that?
This is the kind of guy he is. Okay. So like, how many times can you cry wolf until the wolf is there? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like I said, means well, just can't show you. That's it. And look at Nike. Nike's already like, yo, like
they just need to know that they're paying for somebody who wants to be on the court. That's all.
Exactly. Like Nike gets it now. Like Nike
called
them. Like,
Nike, the shocking thing about, and I didn't really appreciate Nike for that, because Nike normally likes to take on the controversial athlete. They take on the athlete that's going against the grain, against the mold. So I think they were just reacting to the wrong. I don't know. That's not my decision.
But you don't know if Kyrie kicked in the door and it was like, "What's up, cocksuckers? We're gonna make a new shoe or what?" You don't know what Kyrie does.
He's their number one seller. So if he's doing that, he's making y'all the most money right now. I think he's doing better than LeBron's shoes. I think he's doing better than who else? KD, Paul George. I think he's doing better than all of them. So for what it's worth, he's been a great ambassador for Nike. So that part I wasn't really too keen about. But just to kind of reflect on what he was talking about with the Cleveland situation. So, obviously I watched a lot of those games. I'm a LeBron fan. So obviously, I'm invested in everything that was going on at that point in time. And obviously, to me, that relationship looked like it was working. But Kyrie, at that time, he's 22, 23 years old. He's still a kid. And Kobe, when he was 22, 23 years old, he was a kid. But Kobe thought, and Kyrie said it, he would walk in, he's like, better than you, better than you, better than you, better than you, right? Kobe was doing that since he was 18. He walked into a grown man's locker room, I'm better than you, better than you, better than you. And then you got to deal with the big personality of Shaq, right? And Kobe wasn't really trying to deal with that. So they got Shaq up out of there. Same thing. Kyrie was drafted number 1 overall to have the keys to the city. And here comes big dog LeBron coming over and taking all the shine. At 22, 23, 24, it's like, damn, I want that shine back. And I can't really fault him for wanting to leave. But at the same time, we've all been kids and made bad decisions, because he knows hindsight 2020, he should have definitely stayed. And that part is what made me feel like, all right, at least he's wise enough to understand that, because he kind of alluded to it. He knew he should have stayed there. 1,000%. Because, and I look back at that 2017 team. They won in 2016, and I always say that 2017 team was better than 2016. So although they lost in 2017, they could have came back in 2018 and won it. Why? Because LeBron carried that trash-ass Cavs team in 2018 and got all the way to game 1 to overtime with Golden State until the dam fell off. So if Kyrie was on the court for that series in 2018, we're having a whole other discussion about how many rings Kevin Durant has and this, that, and the third. So I definitely think he's matured a lot. I still think he's very misguided and misunderstood, but I do appreciate that he's doing whatever it takes to find himself. And that's the important thing, is that he has to find himself. And his steps, we may not agree with the steps, but who are we to talk about his approach to how he wants to handle things? You know what I mean?
I'm not.
It's just different. It's different. Yeah, it's different. But at least he's not out here committing, crimes. He's not out here robbing banks, beating up on his girlfriend, joining a gang and killing people. Because we hear a lot of these stories with athletes who just go the wrong direction. He went a different direction. That's all it was. But he's not like, we can think Rajon Rondo just got in trouble for threatening to kill his girlfriend, the mother of his kids. So it could be that bad. So at the end of the day, I think the media, and I hate the media. I think the media always makes things bigger than it's supposed to be. And especially when it has to deal with LeBron, they're always going to try to find something to chick at that armor. So I really think that the media made this a bigger deal than it really was. And it is what it is.
And I agree, but I also feel like you said, like he goes about it in a different way. We know he means well. It's just, I observe things and I see the things that you do, and we practice the same religion. And when you're doing this, like it's crazy to think that it's a benevolent time and you're being belligerent, which whatever. Do you? That's how you're going to handle yourself. I'm sure he, asked for forgiveness and praise afterwards, and everybody sins. We know that. I'm just going off of the antics I see, man. And I don't know. Kyrie, like I said, I have no personal vendetta against him. I
I can't
respect him.
tell.
No, man, like, I'm being honest. I told you, like, I appreciate him coming up on the
Yeah.
show and speaking about this.
Yeah, that part was very admirable. At least he had the balls to do this. So
Yeah, yeah, but I feel like when another weird thing, another weird stat we'll throw out about Kyrie, when he shaves his head, he's completely normal a little bit. When the fro or the braids or something out there, he's a little bit.
He's trying when he has the fro and everything. I think he's trying too hard to be righteous. He's trying to be
Yeah.
like 1960s Black Panther kind of guy. And I think he's trying too hard. Whereas when he's not trying too hard, when he does, because like I said, he always means well. But you don't have to go about it where you're overdoing it. Like, people are gonna follow you because they like you and they respect you. You don't have to like go out of your way and be like, yeah, I did this, blah blah blah, Black Power. Like, you don't gotta do all the extra stuff. Just be you. Just be you.
Exactly.
And again, all he had to do was link up with LeBron, because LeBron will show you how to be you. Because he admitted it. He said, he taught me how to be like, professional and do this with my body and how to use my platform and everything like that. So you need to learn these things, and it's hard to learn that stuff by yourself.
It is.
So,
but that's the route he wanted to take on it, and he has to learn.
Unfortunately for him, that was not the best route to take. But maybe things happen for. I mean, we all make decisions that we like. All right, I shouldn't have went that way. I should have went right. You know what I mean? But at some point, the roads kind of come back where you can kind of just get back on that straight, and then you're good. So he could use that as a learning lesson. That, damn, I handled that the wrong way. My fear is that he still hasn't completely changed from who he was back then, because you look at this Brooklyn team, they had no cohesion, no glue, nothing was there. And same thing how it was in Boston. There was no glue, no cohesion. He even said in the 2017 finals, he said they weren't a good team. They were a great talent, but they weren't like together. And he was, and it's because he would go missing for like 2 weeks or whatever and keep to himself. That's still going on now in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Like, he just goes missing. Like, I don't know where he's at. I don't know what he's doing, but we're gonna respect him and love him. So I don't know how much he's changed. I just hope that he's going in the direction where he can become the leader that he wants to be. Because the problem with the Brooklyn Nets is that he's the leader of the team, and he hasn't completely gotten there yet. And I think he can. He's just not yet. Especially when you got to deal with fragile Kevin Durant and fragile Ben Simmons and fragile Steve Nash, and I don't know. To me, he's just not ready for that.
He's fragile too, man. Like, he's not a leader.
He's fragile, but he's not as fragile as those other guys.
Kevin Durant just pop off of the mouth and doesn't give a shit, and I appreciate that.
Kevin Durant's like,
shut the fuck up.
I just want to play basketball, please.
Yeah.
You saw him on David Letterman, something like that.
I didn't get to watch it, but I heard like David Letterman was high, or one of them was high.
No, Kevin Durant is high. He was like, yeah, I think it's good because it helps me clear my mind. It's like drinking a glass of wine. And then Letterman was like, did you smoke today? And Kevin Durant was like, yeah, I'm high right now. With a normal face, like, it wasn't even like matter. It was matter of fact. I was like, I like this. I thought it was funny.
Kevin Durant is funny, man, but he's also that guy, like, just don't shit talk them, because he's gonna give it to you raw.
He will. 100%.
Like, that shit was funny on that Nets game. He was inbounding the ball. The guy was recording. He was like, Kevin, you need to make this shot. He's like, you need to shut the fuck up.
Real talk. Like, Kevin Durant, if like, I'm such a LeBron fan, so everyone's an enemy to me, but like, Kevin Durant he's gonna be like, when it's all said, he's gonna go down as one of my favorite players I ever watched, because he's so obviously one of the most gifted offensive talents we've ever seen. Period. And they call Kristaps Porzingis the unicorn. Get the hell out of here. Kevin Durant is a unicorn, and the fact that he's open about having his burner accounts. He was trying to get with that. What's that point?
He's himself, but he's himself.
Yeah, he's himself. He just wants to hoop. That's it. And I know a lot of people like him back when I used to, all I wanted to do was hoop as well. I know people who are like him, so it's funny to see it in real time. The guy's worth $500 million because he's killing it with the tech companies that he invested in, and he's killing it with the boardroom. He's doing a phenomenal job off the court.
You gotta respect it, man. And
for sure.
I once again, another player that I appreciate. Don't like him because I always felt like he was, the bad guy to LeBron, but I just don't respect the way he moves in the NBA. Like,
I didn't like the Golden State move, obviously, but
yeah,
I would have been happy if he would have won a ring in OKC.
Respect. Oh, absolutely.
I was cheering for him in OKC. That's why I was a little bit more mad.
I was too, but I respect his game. He's a player that I definitely respect his game. Just like Kyrie, respect his game. Don't like the way they move, but respect his game. And definitely, I just think he's funny when he just bashes fans.
It's just like he doesn't have it. It just comes out. It's not like he's thinking about what he's gonna say. Like, this is who I am, so deal with it.
Because he doesn't look tough. Like, he doesn't look like he can fight. He just talks that shit. He just
skinny. He's 172 pounds soaking wet. So yeah, it's
Slim Reaper, man.
Slim Reaper for real. But hey, he gonna kill you on the court.
All right. You're gonna make your favorite team cry afterwards, that's for sure. All right, let's talk NFL schedules.
Let's go, fly Eagles fly. You know what I'm talking about.
Let's talk.
Howie Roseman masterclass this summer. The offseason like J. Cole. What's up?
My man did say it on Twitter about a week ago about signing the DB. So tell him.
I said 5 days ago. I said just go get James Bradbury and call it a day. Let's go for it all. 5 days later, Howie Roseman read my tweet and said, "I bet $10 million. We go for it all this year, my friend." I looked at the schedule. Look, the strength of schedule came out, right? We have the second easiest schedule next year. We're going 11-6 or 12-5. You know who has the hardest schedule though? Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Rams. That's some scary shit. Because those are two teams that can very well make it to the Super Bowl, but that's tough. You guys have the 27th hardest schedule.
I thought we were in the middle of the pack.
I
thought we were in the middle of the pack. They
27th.
Oh fuck!
Whatever. I like your draft a lot. Then I looked at your. I dead ass was looking at both of our schedules before the show. I was like, damn, y'all got a hard ass schedule. Y'all schedule is tough, for real tough. So their team is going to be better, but it may not reflect because
absolutely
because that schedule is tough.
I'm being honest with you. I'm betting 4 or 5 wins. 4 or 5 wins for us.
5 or 6. Yo, that schedule is tough as shit, dog. Oh my god!
But then again, we beat the Super Bowl champions in the regular season.
You did.
Things like that happen, and we beat the Dallas Cowboys the year before.
But the Dallas Cowboys are the
Dallas Cowboys lost to themselves.
All right, let me kind of just run real quick. I'm just gonna run real quick. The Jets. You guys start off. Or I'm just gonna run through the teams. You go through the AFC North for the first 4 weeks. Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. Whatever nerd made y'all schedule, that's messed up, right? That's messed up. Then y'all got Miami, right? That's like they're better. But look, and then you know what you do after that? You go to Green Bay, you go to Denver, you play New England, and you play Buffalo. Then you have a bye, you play New England again. My bro, who made y'all schedule? Like, what the hell is that? So that first, was it 10 games that was? That's y'all looking at 1-9, 2-8. I don't want to be mean. I'm just keeping it real. You're going to Green Bay, going to Russell Wilson's Mile High Stadium, and then you got Chicago, Minnesota, Buffalo, Detroit, Jacksonville, Seattle, Miami. Y'all gonna do better in the second half of the season, but that first half, that shit's brutal. Shit's brutal. Meanwhile, we got it. We Detroit week 1, Minnesota's a pick 'em. Washington, we get Carson Wentz, Jacksonville, Arizona without DeAndre Hopkins. Dallas got worse. We got them next. Pittsburgh, a good rookie quarterback, Kenny Pickett. I ain't scared of him. Houston, Come on, Davis Mills. Carson Wentz again. Indy will be tough. Green Bay will be tough. Tennessee will be tough. So those are 3 tough games in a row. And then we ran it out with New York, Chicago, Dallas, New Orleans, and New York again. So our second half is a little bit more dangerous. But if we get off to a good start, we're in the money. But I think for my team, if we're just speaking about what I think we need to do to be better, we got the 2 corners. We got Darius Slade. We got Bradbury. I needed that second corner. We obviously drafted how I wanted to with Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis. I'm starting to have a little bit of FOMO because we really need a safety. And I think Kyle Hamilton, he would have been excellent on our team, and he could play every down. We don't have to worry about it's a run down or a pass down. Kyle Hamilton could be on the field no matter what. So that part I do have a little bit of FOMO about, and hopefully Jordan Davis can become what we expect him to become. It all falls on Jalen Hurts. We built the offense around the offensive line is great. AJ Brown's great. Devontae Smith is great. If we can't get it done, then it's a Jalen thing. And then I really think if that's the case, we're gonna be like the Bucks a couple years ago and go get a damn quarterback and go win the Super Bowl next. So I feel in the next 3 years we have a good shot because we built a nucleus now. All we need to know now is who's going to be our quarterback. So if Aaron Rodgers gets pissed off again, I'll take him. I'll take him for a year at 40 years old. Hell yeah, I'll take Aaron Rodgers for a year or 2. Whatever other veteran quarterback becomes available, if Jalen Hurts is not the guy, we're built now to be successful and to make some noise. So I'm happy as of right now with the second easiest schedule, 5 primetime games. I'm loving it, bro. I'm flying right now. Javi Roseman with the masterclass. I got to give it to him for sure.
Yeah, man. I think we're realists with our teams. That's why we made this podcast. I'm happy with the draft. I'm no complaints, but looking at that schedule, I give us at max 5 wins.
I say 6. I say 6. I say 6.
It's too tough to call when everything is too new.
The second half of your schedule. I mean, there's a couple winnable games in that first part, but then y'all got
you beat the Rams, which is how you beat the Rams. Like anything is possible. Any given Sunday, I say it every time.
That's why I give y'all 6, which would be what? How many did y'all win last year?
4.
That's a 2-game improvement. Steady. And that's what we talk about. Steady. We just got to get steady, steadily.
Bro, I didn't say we're going to the Super Bowl. Just said we make the play. Bro, I went to the gym. I went to the gym on Saturday, okay, and I wore the green Jets shirt that they wear on the sidelines, the Nike one, whatever, the workout one. And I'm working on the guy.
Dry fit?
He had a dry fit one. And the guy had a Jets hat on. He had the New York Titans hat on. He comes up to me. He's like, shit, a Jets fan, man. He's like, we had a great draft. I was like, yeah, man. It was insane. I haven't seen anything like that in a long time from this team. He's like, yeah, man. He said, we're gonna be good next year. I was like, I don't know about that, man. Let's pump the brakes there. He's like, nah, bro, we're making playoffs next year. I gave him the deadest stare. And I'm gonna say, keep that same energy, my man.
You know where you screwed up at? You should have said, give me your phone. And then put the Fairweather podcast in there so that he can become a subscriber and a listener.
Oh no, he subscribed to it already. Yeah. I plugged it. I said.
Hey, we need to make some shirts. So I'm gonna start wearing that to the gym, so I can, y'all come to me for my sport. I want somebody to approach me about the Eagles or something. I wear Eagles socks all the time.
Oh man. No, but I talked to him. I was like, dude, keep that same energy all year. I'm gonna need that. But no, I see 5, 6 wins would be great. It's anything can happen. Somebody could get hurt, anything. And we beat the Titans. We beat the Titans too.
Y'all. Oh, and can we? All right, because we haven't really gotten into it. I know I'm completely switching gears. I looked at your week 2 opponent, and it's Cleveland, right? Who the hell is going to be playing quarterback week 2 for Cleveland? If you had to put money on it right now, who is playing quarterback week 2 for the Cleveland Browns?
It ain't Baker Mayfield.
Is it going to be Deshaun Watson? because we don't know what the hell's going on with that.
No,
they say his case can go up. That case can go up until next summer. It has 22 to settle, and he's not trying to settle. So who's going to be playing court? Like they just met with him the other day. So
whoever that backup is going to be playing.
I don't know. It was a Josh Dobbs or something like that, or no, it was Jacoby Brissett. Yep. I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, where do you think Baker's going to end up then? And you don't think it's possible to mend those fences in Cleveland no more?
I don't think so. I think Baker's out the league for a year, or until somebody goes down.
They won't keep Baker out the league. Nah, hell no.
I think
because Cleveland will cut him, and then the Panthers or Seattle will pick him up with the quickness. But if they don't cut him, then he's just going to be.
That could be the only two places, unless Seattle sticks to their guns, and unless Carolina sticks to their guns.
I think Washington go get him. Carson Wentz ain't it. But he could become like a nice, really good backup for a year, and how Teddy Bridgewater had to reprove himself countless times. He might just end up having a Teddy Bridgewater career where he's your number two until you need him to be your number one, and he'll be a number one for 8 weeks, and you do pretty well, but he can't do enough to get you over that top. But he's still, he's had some flashes. He looks like he can be good. It's just, I don't know, man. He's the Phoenix Suns.
Exactly. He's the
talks too much shit for somebody who hasn't accomplished shit.
more TV ads than he has wins, bro.
Yeah, he's the Phoenix Suns. He's State Farm. Yeah. Think about Chris Paul got all those State Farm commercials. He got all the progressive commercials.
That's probably the greatest Stephen A. quote I ever heard. I pissed my pants laughing when I heard him say that on national TV.
But it's the truth.
It is. It's the truth.
It's a flat truth.
Yeah. So I don't know. Looking at this schedule though,
tough.
It's tough, man. Buffalo's got a tough schedule too, but they can easily run through those guys as well.
Who do you think is going to have the biggest jump from last year to this year? As far as wow, they look way better than they did last year.
Indy didn't make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs.
But that's not they won 9 games still, or 8 games. I think they might win the same amount of games.
I think they'll win 12 games this year, man. I think they went and got the necessary pieces, man.
What's their strength of schedule? I don't know. They got the third easiest strength of schedule. Oh shit. Matty Ice is about to go crazy.
Matty Ice is just waiting to do good.
Matty Ice is about to go crazy.
And Julio Jones still a free agent, man.
I have a feeling he's gonna end up in Tampa or some shit.
I got that feeling too.
I have because when you're getting old, that sun hit different on your limbs and your body. Because that cold hurts. When you're old and your joints hurt, that cold hurts even more. But if he's not a Ram or a Charger, he's going to be or Raider. He's going to be a Buck or a Dolphin.
It's indoors, so I don't know. I feel like Indianapolis is going to take a big jump, double-digit wins. Bucks got an easy schedule too.
The Bucks do? No, they don't.
Oh, they don't?
No. Oh, they said it's the seventh easiest schedule, but it's only the 7th easiest schedule because I think they got Tom Brady. Because I looked at the schedule last when they came out, and I was like, man, if this was Kyle Trask, that would be tough.
Their first 4 games are tough.
Yeah, Dallas, Cowboys, Saints, Packers, Chiefs.
Yeah, that's tough.
And then Ravens and Panthers. Ravens are going to be good next year. Seahawks will be easy. Rams, they got to play the Rams again. Browns, that might be where Deshaun Watson is back. Saints, they obviously struggle with them. 49ers, who the hell is going to be playing quarterback for them next year? But we're going to see. And then the defending AFC champion Bengals, the Cardinals with DeAndre Hopkins back. I don't know. It's tough. I see 7th ranked schedule, but it's tough to me personally.
Yeah, I never hold
especially with Tom Brady doing movies and shit now.
I never hold my breath with the NFL because anything can happen. Like I said, we beat the Rams. Come on, that's not supposed to happen. And then they win the Super Bowl.
Any given Sunday, like Jamie Foxx.
That's the way to do it. All right, so since we're talking about Tom Brady, let's wrap up the show. this man is about to go on have a TV show where they're gonna roast his ass. Comedians, celebrities, Teddy Bruschi. They try to get Teddy Bruschi to do his greatest Tom Brady impression day on ESPN, but he wouldn't crack. So KK and I put together a list of players that we think would benefit from having a roast of celebrities do all that for them. I'm just going off the top of the head of a few guys I think would be.
Go ahead.
Charles Barkley got to be first.
He hasn't had a roast yet?
I don't think so. He just gets roasted continually.
To me, he looks like somebody who has had to have had a roast at some point.
He would have to, but I feel like I don't know why TNT just hasn't done it yet, but they need to give him his own roast.
They've never roasted. Like, he's never had an official roast, but you can go on YouTube and find 30 minutes of video of him being roasted by players.
He would be a great one.
Yeah.
I feel like Shaq, if Shaq hasn't had one already, I think he would be
Shaq had one. I think Shaq has been on one or had one.
Shaq has been on one, I'm pretty sure. Shaq is funny, but Shaq would be another one to be beneficial from that because he's just a big kid.
He has he does like no, I don't think he's had a specific roast, but he had a all-star comedy roast that he did, that he directed or whatever, but he's never been roasted. That's crazy to me.
I know.
That's crazy. He roasted. Oh, he was on a roast for Justin Bieber.
That's the one he was on. Yeah.
Random shit.
Why? Why? If I never watched him play basketball in his life, probably, man.
You know who'd be funny on a roast? Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin.
That's what I was gonna say.
He needs to retire, bro. Like, he needs to get into this comedy shit. Like, it's over. Like, he's better right now in Hollywood than he. You know what Blake Griffin can end up being? John Sally. I think John Sally has had such an amazing overall career in his life, because people look at him, either you know him as a basketball player or you know him as the Hollywood guy, and he's accomplished both pretty well. He has 4 NBA championships with the Bad Boy Pistons, with Michael Jordan, and with Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
He's very well decorated, and then we'll always remember him in Bad Boys as the guy at the desk.
The guy in Bad Boys. The guy in Bad Boys. I had Dennis Rodman. That would be crazy.
Dennis Rodman be a good one.
Conor McGregor. I want to see him get roasted because he talks so much shit. But at least he's backed it up to an extent. But I need somebody to talk. I need somebody to like give it to him, like for real, give it to him.
KD would be a good one too, man. I feel like KD would.
I don't know. KD would not get roasted. No, KD is not gonna sit there and have people roast him. Hell no. But I would love to see KD roast him back.
That's what I want. Exactly.
That part would be funny. Him roasting them all back.
And I would want to see that. Like KD and Draymond just going back.
I have Draymond on my list. I said I want to see Draymond get roasted. He will roast him back.
And then I put, like, for baseball, I think I put Adrian Beltre, because I always thought he was really, really funny. And people would just like touch his head and he'd go insane about how nuts he was about his hair. So I think people would just have a good time roasting him, and he always had like a really good sense of humor. So
Manny Ramirez.
Manny would be a good one.
Manny Ramirez
would be a good one.
I had Chad Johnson for football as well.
Oh, Chad Johnson.
He could make a legit TV series for real of celebrity roast or whatever. He would be perfect for that.
I roasted Chad Johnson and he roasted me back, man. So like, I know he can take it. He's a good dude, man.
I love Chad, my guy.
Good dude, man. That's all I got on my list, though.
Yeah, that's all I got. Dennis Rodman. Oh, I'll put Patrick Beverly too, because he came to mind first. But there wouldn't be that many celebrities to talk shit about him. Nobody know who Patrick Beverly is like that. I mean, he's known a little bit, but he ain't know. If you ask Jennifer Love Hewitt, I don't even know who she is. But if you ask Jennifer Love Hewitt who Conor McGregor is, she'll say, "Oh, I know him." If you ask her if you know who Dennis Rodman is, yeah, I know him. Patrick Beverly, who? Who's that? So, yeah. If you ask my girl, she doesn't know basketball like that. If you ask her who any of these people are, except for Patrick Beverly, she'll know them all. So, for sure.
Chuck's yelling, "Let's go Mavs" in front of all the Warriors fans.
Oh, he's there?
Thinking those phrases yesterday. If they did one on Pat Bev, I feel like Chris Paul would have to be the MC.
Nah, because it might get personal. But Chris and him, it might get too personal. So no, not yet. We got to mend those fences in a couple years.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. Well, that's the show. Much appreciation to listening. You can find us on Twitter at fair_weather_pod, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Just search the Fair Weather Podcast, and wherever you subscribe or listen to podcasts, you can find the audio there. We did not touch on the lottery. Want to touch on that real quick?
Orlando. Hey, Orlando is going for another number one pick. They got to go get Jabari Smith. They need to go get Jabari Smith.
Everybody's saying Chet Holmgren because of Jalen.
Why? He can't, bruh. He gonna get this. He got exposed by college kids.
You and I get it. My friends are like, get Chet because he fits the mold of this NBA.
No. Please go get Jabari Smith. Please. With all due respect. Oh, Chet Holmgren would be great in OKC. Skinny white kid in Oklahoma. That makes a lot more sense. Jabari Smith can go bring Disney World back. Please. No. Chet Holmgren needs to go to OKC. That's what needs to happen.
I say Paolo. I think that's the clear-cut guy for me, but Jabari Smith, he's an animal
too.
The
problem about Paolo, I think his ceiling is Tobias Harris. I think that's his ceiling.
Oh, man. I think better.
I think that's his ceiling. I don't think he's going to be like that in the NBA. He's going to be good. He's going to make maybe one all-star team because he plays for like a bad Sacramento Kings or something like that. But I'm not really gung-ho about him. I think Jabari Smith has the most upside. I think what we're seeing Josh Jackson become, what DeAndre Ayton is, what John Collins is in Atlanta. Jabari Smith is cut like that to me. He can, like Bam Adebayo, he can become that kind of a player. And especially in Orlando, a small market, they need to make a splash. Chet Holmgren is not a splash. They need to make a splash because Orlando is good for a splash every decade. They had the Shaquille O'Neal splash. They had the Dwight Howard splash. So who's the next splash? It has to be a Jabari Smith. To me. That's how the cookie crumbles in Orlando.
I got no dog on that fight.
What's the Knicks pick?
11th. Who cares? That's why I put that little clip of the S in the back for shit.
Just the S, not the whole Nick.
It's so bad. 11th pick. I was watching on Twitter all day, all the hopefuls being like, today's lottery day.
Oh, God.
There was like a guy cleaning his gun. I was like, Jesus, they're not gonna. They had like a 2% chance to get one.
Oh, y'all about to be stuck in. Y'all gonna be like the 6. Y'all gonna have to eventually go trust the process because y'all about to be stuck in basketball purgatory. Where y'all gonna be good enough, just good enough to be an 8 seed, but that's it. Unless y'all go get Donovan Mitchell, and he won't even get you that far. Because Donovan Mitchell can't even get out the first round in the West. So what makes you think it's going to be any easier? I don't know.
Change of scenery. I think it'll be good for him.
Yeah, he'll be home, but now he has to get everybody tickets. He's going to be distracted. Yeah, I got you. I got your tickets. Yeah, I got you. I got your tickets.
Okay. I think it'll be okay.
I think with Utah, at least he got Dwayne Wade as a part owner of the team. Dwayne Wade can coach him. Well,
mentor.
Yeah, coach him. Honestly, he needs to coach him. That's what he needs to do. But we're gonna see. Philly ain't got nothing going for him. So
yeah, Yankees keep winning. I'm a happy man there.
Hey, shout out to y'all team. Y'all some scary shit right now.
still in single digit losses, my man.
Hey, but we did pretty well against the Dodgers over the weekend. I was pretty impressed with that, except for Sunday, where we let them come back. But I'm not. We're playing exactly how I thought we'll play. Inconsistent.
You want to know something funny? Your frat brother, my friend Christian Bermudez, is obviously an athletic trainer for the Phillies.
Correct.
You do know he used to obviously be on the Astros training staff.
Yes, correct.
They have a pitcher. I think his name is Christian Bermudez now.
Oh, really?
For the
Astros?
Yeah, I was like, you got to be shitting me. I was like,
that's funny. Yeah, but shout out to the Phillies and shout out to Christian Bermudez because we look healthy this year. We look healthier this year, so clearly he's doing something right.
Any more knowledge to drop?
Honestly, man, I really got nothing to drop today, man. I think I dropped enough knowledge. I listened to Kyrie Irving earlier today, so I'm in a different place mentally of wisdom and intellectual. And I also watched it. Oh, here's my knowledge that dropped today. You know, the government or whatever talking about like aliens and shit, and they're finally being open about it. Look, man, they here already. All right, so don't be shocked. I think they're preparing us mentally for these aliens and stuff. I watched a video on YouTube for 30 minutes. This is the stuff I do during my day. I watched a video on YouTube earlier today about alien sightings and UFOs. I'm a little scared, a little weirded out, but guys, just make sure y'all treat everybody nice because you don't know if that person's an alien. Just treat everybody right. Be kind. Be kind.
Watch Men in Black and prepare yourselves, man.
Don't watch Men in Black. No. Go watch
Watch Men in
American
Black
Dad.
1. Watch Men in Black
Watch American Dad and with Roger. He'll teach you how to treat aliens.
Roger is too much. Anyway, so peace it out, man.
Adios.